All right, guys, so today in front of me from Penelope, we have their Architect Build number 2. This is a 4-grain bourbon that uses 2 different types of French oak staves. So the mash bill on this guy is 75% corn, 15% wheat, 7% rye, and 3% malted barley. And the 2 different types of French oak staves are, one of them is a delicate French oak stave, and the other is a intense French oak stave. It's aged between 4 to 5.5 years. Non-chill filter, comes in at 104 proof, and MSRP on this guy is anywhere between $50 to $55. Definitely excited to get into this one. I am a fan of Penelope. I don't see too much of it around me, unfortunately, so I have to rely on some other sources to get some of the bottles. But I've been a big fan of what they've done so far, guys. Definitely excited to get into this one. So without further ado, let's go. All right, guys, so again, as I stated, this one comes in at 104 proof, is non-chill filtered, and aged between 4 to 5.5 years. Let's go ahead and get into the nose on this one. There's definitely some fruitiness to this one, but there's also like this really nice oakiness to it. I get a little bit of like black pepper there on the nose, some sweet oak. It kind of pops out at me a little bit further into the glass, and then further away from the glass, I get like a caramel, your vanilla, but there's definitely some like orchard fruits there in the glass as well. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of just really nice oak on the nose there. Again, there's some sweet oak, some caramel, some vanillas. The orchard fruit, it may be like a little bit of maybe like a pear, maybe like a hint of like a red apple. The fruitiness isn't too strong on the nose. I do get like a really nice hint of honey there on the nose as well. Definitely, it's definitely a little bit peppery though there on the nose. I actually pick up a slight hint of like lemon, like a lemon bar. That's a little bit further into the glass. Yeah, it's like it's honey, it's oak. There's some pepper in there. A little bit of fruitiness, maybe some pear, maybe a slight hint of like a red apple. It's a very inviting nose. Let's get into the palate, guys. Cheers. Yeah, so one of the first things that I got on the palate there, rich honey, rich caramel. You definitely pick up some of those oak tannins on like the middle to the back of the palate, but there's also this this unique spiciness to it. This spicy character, and it's not rye. My guess is it comes from those French oak staves, but it's like it's very hard to explain like the spiciness of it. It's almost a mix of there's definitely some baking spices in there, a little bit of nutmeg. A little bit of allspice there towards the back with some black pepper. That lemon that I picked up on the nose, there's definitely some citrus there on the sides of the palate. But it's just this very unique spiciness to it, and I think the French oak staves have a lot to do with that. Again, they used a delicate French oak stave and then an intense. So some of it, you're going to start to pick up some of those oak tannins, the heavier oak tannins, and then with the delicate, not so much. Not so heavy with the oak tannins, but more of like some toasted characters in there. And the finish, surprisingly, the finish is actually a medium to long finish. It definitely lingers down some of that black pepper that kind of flows through into the back. Really nice first sip, guys. Let's get in the second one. Yeah, so on the front of the palate, you definitely get like almost like some marshmallowed sweetness. That's exactly what it reminds me of. And then like on the sides of the palate, it kind of transfers into like this little like citrus bomb there. A little bit of lemon on the sides of the palate. Middle of the palate is where it gets interesting on this one, and that's kind of where some of that like that toasted spice, and then some of that darker, deeper spice from some of those oak tannins start to appear there on the middle to the back of the palate. then into the back, nice kind of vanilla that kind of flows through into the finish with some of that black pepper. And then another interesting note there on the back is it gets a little bit floral there on the back of the palate and into the finish. Just a slight hint of floral there that kind of tags along with that black pepper. I really like it though. It's very unique. Not only with the spiciness that comes from this one, but some of those floral notes that kind of appear in there, and then that toasted marshmallow sweetness there on the front of the palate goes to this citrus side, and then into the finish. In the back of the palate, you do pick up some nice like sweet oak there, but then it's almost like this toasted note flowing through with some black pepper, and some floral there. Very interesting and unique notes on this one. I really like it too because the finish just continues to linger on. Medium to long finish, almost on that longer side. It kind of goes away now, so it does last for a little while. Let's get into the last sip, guys. Cheers. Tell you, this is I only tried the original Architect one time. I had a very small sample of it, so I wasn't able to review it. But this is definitely different. I feel like this one is. I feel like it's more concentrated on like some of those oaky spices, some of those baking spices that you pick up. So that last sip right there, I picked up a lot of different baking spices, along with those unique spices from some of those French oak staves. Again, front of the palate is just like this marshmallow caramel, like almost like a burnt marshmallow sweetness. And in the middle of the palate is just there's that unique spiciness that comes from those French oak staves. I mean, there's a little bit of lemon there on the sides of the palate, that little citrus side to it. But yeah, I mean, there's sweet oak to it. There's a little bit of floral there, again, into the finish, along with that black pepper. Nice kind of sweet vanilla that flows through. To me, what I really liked about this one is just that oakiness, that spicy character, which is not the rye. It is a very low percent rye. It's 7%, so you're not getting a ton of those rye spices. Not a lot of rye influence in it. So those French oak staves, I think, play a big part in those spicy oaky characters, and then that toasted oaky character as well that you're getting on the palate. And that finish, it is almost on the long side of a finish. This is something that would be really nice just to kind of, a nice summer drinker, sitting out at a bonfire there, a nice summer night, sipping this thing. It'll take you a while to get through a bottle, unless you're me, and it'll go rather quickly. But Architect build number 2, guys, from Penelope, definitely a hitter of a bottle right here, guys. So I want to thank you guys for tuning into this episode of Dusty Dan's Whiskey Reviews. I want to send a big thank you out to my friends over at Penelope for supplying me with the sample to review on the channel. Guys, I think if you're looking for something that is a very unique profile in a good way, you like some of that spiciness from a bourbon, while you also like a little bit of that oak. I think that this is right for you. It does drink like it's older than 5.5 years. I'd say maybe like in that 7-year range, and I think that's because of those French oak staves. It brings that spiciness character to it, and then also that toasted character to it. A lot of sweetness in there. There's definitely some citrus in there, some darker side to some of that oak and some of those baking spices flowing through into the finish, with a little bit of black pepper and a very, very unique hint of floral there that kind of flowed through right into the back and into the finish. Definitely a hitter of a bottle. I will be on the lookout for this Architect build number 2, guys. Great release here, guys, from Penelope. So if you're looking for more reviews like this, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button and bell notification to be alerted of any upcoming reviews or live streams. You also find me on Instagram at Dusty Dan's Whiskey Reviews. And until next time, guys, stay dusty.